Hi everybody, Joe Peluso here from Complete Payroll. Welcome to another episode of PeopleWork. PeopleWork, of course, is the series where we interview experts on a wide variety of topics under the HCM, Human Capital Management, Human Resources umbrella, all for the benefit of anybody whose job it is to manage a workforce or take care of people. Today we're being hosted by Select Sound Studios in Kenmore, New York. As a musician in Buffalo, this is a dream for me because I have passed this studio my entire life and always wondered what kind of history went on in here. And we are there's a lot of history in this room that we're in right now. DMX, rest in peace, has recorded here. Simple Plan, local legends like Gamelan, rest in peace, Ted Reinhardt, Lance Diamond, Alan Toussaint's been in this room, Sharon Jones, the list goes on and on. 40 years of history in this building, and we're very, very grateful that Bill and Kevin opened up their space to us, and Peggy opened up their space to us to shoot this video. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by Mike Schifferle from Value Point Associates and Bill Ochocinski from Apollo Wealth Management. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning, Joe. Thanks for having us.
Excellent. Today we're talking about retirement benefits. There is a retirement problem in this country. The vast majority, small businesses make up the majority of businesses in this country. And the vast majority of those small businesses don't offer any sort of a retirement benefit at all to their employees. So that's what we're hoping to talk about today. So Mike, let me start with you. Why don't you talk a little bit, first of all, about what Value Point Associates is and what you do for your clients.
Sure. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
So Value Point Associates is a national employer association. Okay, we provide 401k benefits and also group insurance products to small employers. Okay, and by small employers, we refer to companies having fewer than 100 employees. Okay, any size company can join our association, but we feel that smaller companies will realize the greatest value by partnering with us. And as you've already mentioned, 401k, our anchor product is absolutely our 401k plan, which Bill will talk more about in the interview this morning. And we also offer group life to all of our association members.
Bill, why don't you talk a little bit about Apollo Wealth Management and what you do?
Well, Apollo Wealth Management is my company. We started it about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago now. And I came from the retirement world. I was the administrator and still am actually of 3 Taft-Hartley funds, so I'm used to the multi-employer world. And I started my own company because I enjoyed working with 401k plans. I enjoyed working with retirement plans. We don't do a lot of individual customers. We're basically working with the retirement plans, in the area, and we have customers, hundreds of miles away. But we do work with them. We set up the plans for them. We create all of the reports they need. We do everything that they need to do. We work with the third-party administrators. We work with the plan sponsors. We work with the participants. We do everything we need to make that plan successful. And to make a plan successful, we want the cost as low as possible. We want the returns as high as we can get them. We want the people in the right asset allocation. We want everybody basically set up to be able to succeed and actually retire and walk out the door one day and be able to actually survive.
I mentioned at the top that the vast majority of small businesses don't offer any sort of retirement plan whatsoever. How bad are we talking? What is the number?
Right. So for the purposes of this discussion, I want to make sure that we define small business, right? So we're talking about companies that have fewer than 100 employees. So the statistics that we see out there, and also based on the national research that our association has conducted, approximately 90% of small businesses, which are more than 5 million of them in the U.S., so 90% of those 5 million plus small businesses don't offer a 401k plan. So only 10% offer some type of a retirement vehicle to their employees. So,
why? What are the common reasons that they give you for not doing that?
Most of the time, it's unfamiliarity. So the owners themselves, they're unfamiliar on how to set up a plan, what to do. They're basically lost. And there's fiduciary liability that's out there if somebody sponsors a plan. So, they get nervous and they get scared and they shy away. That's one problem. The other problem, too, is if you start a plan that you don't have any assets, nobody wants to talk to you. So the big carriers, the big insurance companies, they don't want anything to do with you until you have assets. And that's a problem, because some of these plans, you get 5 people, 10 people in a plan. It take years before you get to a point that you have, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in there. So the big carriers, they don't want to talk to you. And if they do talk to you, it's so expensive, you can't make a successful plan. So we've Value Point has actually created a closed MEP, which means that it's a multi-employer plan. It's a simple plan. It's very efficient, cost efficient. It solves the problem that's out there right now. The advantage of the MEP for these small employers is very simple. They have all of the resources that Value Point has that they bring to the table. But the big thing is that the employer itself is never the plan sponsor. They're only a participating employer, which means their fiduciary liability drops almost to zero. Okay, once the contributions are handed over to Value Point, their liability drops off to almost nothing, and that's a huge advantage for them. Okay, because they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to file a 5500 form. They don't have to worry about dealing with attorneys. They don't want to have to deal with any of that. Value Point provides that whole total solution for them.
And to add to that, like Complete Payroll, we use automation, right, technology to streamline the process. So we're trying to make it as simple as possible for employers to actually, transfer any necessary data to the payroll company to us. So we're using technology to make sure that that process is streamlined and as painless as possible for small employers. I'm sorry.
Why is having a 401k important?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. I mean, the first reason is if you're a small employer and you're trying to attract, top talent, if you don't have a 401k plan, group life, health insurance, the popular benefits, these valuable benefits, chances are you're not going to land that employee. Okay, they're going to look to a different company or a bigger company that brings that to the table. But that also has to do with employee retention. Okay, so getting the employee in the door with the benefits is one thing, but retaining them, right? You have to have employee benefits to retain that employee long term.
I would imagine that's much more pertinent. It's as pertinent now as it's ever been with the hiring crisis and things like that we're experiencing.
That's very true. That's very true.
Right, and people don't realize either. We're all going to eventually retire, hopefully. Right, right. Some people don't make it that far.
Except for us, though.
Yeah. Right. But to retire, people don't realize how much money they need. You need literally 10 years' pay to be able to retire, and a retirement system, a 401k plan, is really your only environment that's available to somebody to be able to accumulate that much in assets, right? Even if somebody goes into an IRA, there's a lot of people that have IRAs. You only put $5,000 a year in there. Okay, if someone's making $100,000 a year, they can never save enough money to retire. So the only solution for them is to actually be in a 401k plan.
Social Security simply is not enough to retire anymore.
Right.
And too many people that we talk to think that they're going to rely on Social Security. And like Bill said, you need at least 10 years, worth of retirement funds to comfortably retire. That's our mission. This is the reason that Value Point's in business. It's what we do every single day. We get up and we're trying to help small companies have a cost-effective solution right to that retirement problem. Mm-hmm. That is why we are in business.
So you mentioned you need 10 years basically 10 years worth of pay to retire sort of safely. That's like the minimum. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Yeah,
it's let's use an example. Let's take somebody who makes $50,000 a year. 10 years pay is $500,000. When you get to the point that you have to start drawing down on the assets, Okay, you can really only draw about 4% a year, keep the assets invested, and 4% of $500,000 is about $20,000. Okay, someone that's making $50,000 a year, their Social Security is going to be somewhere around $2,000, a little more than $2,000 a month. By the time you combine the two together, you're replacing the majority of the income. Now, the reason why I say 10 years pay also is, the assets are going to go up and down as the market's going up and down. So you got to be able to withstand some of those down cycles, because if you're drawing too much out of there and it's not invested properly, you're going to run out of money. Because a person retiring today at 65 is expected to live 21.6 years. That's a long time. All right, so if you don't have any income coming in, that's a long time. You got to draw off those assets.
Yeah, and I do want to mention too that the way that Value Point Associates is structured, having Bill from Apollo Wealth Management as our financial advisor, is that we meaning through Bill, offer all of our employers and their participants advisement. Okay, so there are many other 401k companies out there that actually make you pay more or upcharge you, to have advisement as part of your package. So the way that we work, whether your company has 3 employees or 300, everybody gets the same Cadillac plan with us. And Bill actually gives every business owner his personal number so that if they have a question, a concern, something's happening in the market, they have direct access to a financial advisor basically year-round.
So that's really the true value of being in an association like that.
That's correct. That's one of the big values that we bring to the table. Absolutely.
And one of the advantages too of having an active advisor is, people sometimes are going to freak out when the market's crashing. Okay, so as the advisor, my job is to grab them by the hand and walk them through the right door, because they're going to do something wrong. They're going to move to cash. They're going to try to chase returns. They're going to do something. So, my job as the advisor is to grab them by the hand, walk them through the right door, and keep them on the right path, because most people will make the wrong decision 100% of the time, because it's not their business. Right. We have a lot of customers. We just signed up a group this week too from down south. They're actually a part of the government, but they don't have access to the government benefits. They have no clue of what a financial advisor does. They don't know what they're doing. They know what they do. So you have to rely on the expert to help you through that. And that's part of my job, is to recognize that, because some people just can't take risk. They can't. And as an advisor, when I see that, I have to help them get through that. And if they really can't take the risk, I got to put them in something that's going to be less risky, and they have to understand the returns aren't going to be as good. That's part of the deal. So it's, the advisor itself does a lot with the participants.
Right. But the bottom line is, like Bill said, in most cases, Social Security just won't be enough to comfortably retire, and we want to make sure that the participants that are in our plan that we sponsor, they have enough money to retire and have a nice lifestyle after they retire.
I mean, look today. Go to McDonald's, go to Home Depot. How many people do you see are over 70 years old still working? Right. Most of them aren't working because they want to.
It's definitely that was certainly the impetus for me to start. I mean, I started 401k to me late, but I guess it's about the right time. But yeah, that terrified me when I saw that. I was like, I don't want to work with them. I want to retire, and I feel like a lot of people from my generation are just simply not going to be able to. Well, unless they get into something like that.
And it's a huge problem. But what people don't understand either, it's also an unemployment problem. Those people that should have retired should be retired out of the workforce, and somebody younger should come in to fill that job. That's not happening. And that's a scary situation in this country. And that's why the government now, a lot of the states are mandating some of these plans that have to be in, CalSavers and Illinois. It's going to be in New York at some point in time too. It's going to be, they want employers to offer at least IRAs to their participants, which is I guess is a good start, but It's not a 401k plan.
So an employer wants to join an association. What are some of the advantages of doing that? What are some of the costs involved? Can you either of you guys speak to that?
So when an employer joins the association, it's based on the number of employees or participants that they would have in our plan. So it's very simple. The way that we've done this, there are two pricing models, if you will. The first one is if you are an employer having between 1 and 5 employees, you pay $495 to join the association. That's an annual cost. And then you have access to the 401k. Okay? If you have more than 5 employees, there is a little scale on our website, on our 401k pricing page. They just go to that page, they drag the bar over to the number of employees they have, and instantly on the right side of that page, their monthly fee, their association dues, pops up right there. I mean, it's literally that simple. It's instant.
And the 401k plan itself, too, is free to the employers. There is no upcharge. There is none of that. Value Point makes nothing off the 401k plan. So the actual expense of the plan itself and the cost I've never seen a plan lower. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's without the cost of the mutual funds, it's less than 1/3%. And most plans today they would get into, a small plan would be all north of 1%. So that difference in that savings stays in that person's account, and over the years can literally be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. And we've seen that numerous times. And one thing that we do for any employer, okay, whether they're an association member, they're a prospect, right? Regardless, we will do a 401k analysis for them. And Bill enjoys doing these because we love showing people how much they can save in their administration costs, participation fees. He already talked about, the cost of audits and attorneys and filing the 5,500. We handle all of that, okay? So we love doing these free analysis for people. And when they see how much that the participants and the owners will keep in their plans over time, right? They absolutely just love the solution. They love the solution.
So Mike mentioned setup fees separate from the dues. Can you talk a little bit about the setup fees?
Yeah, there's a couple things that need to be done. One is each employer, because they are a participating employer, and every company that we have has a different setup. So they have different vesting schedules, they have different matching schedules, whatever they have. We take all that data down. We have an attorney that we work with. He charges $250 to do the summary plan description. That's a one-time cost. Right? And then there's a $100 cost to get them set up at the third-party administrator. So it's a $350 cost one time the first year to do all the setup. If they do have a plan that has existing assets, let's say they had a plan that was in existence, they want to roll that over to us, there's another $250 charge to transfer those assets. But those are one-time fees. It's very inexpensive.
So is there any sort of tax incentives or anything for small businesses to offer a retirement plan or a 401k?
Yes. So the tax credit for starting a 401k plan starts at $500 and it goes up as high as $5,000. Okay. Now we're not CPAs, we're not tax practitioners, so we always refer everybody to their tax professional, their accountant for this. But there absolutely is a tax credit available to them for starting a new 401k plan. That's correct.
Right, and you said the minimum is $500, so that almost covers.
It alleviates your setup fees and part of your first year association dues.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and we urge people to take care of that. And again, to boil this all down, we've said this before, that there really is a retirement problem, in the U.S. A lot of small companies, they don't have a 401k plan. They think they can't afford one. They don't know how to find one, and other benefits, right? So Value Point Associates, in working with people like Bill Ochocinski, we have put together a model that really alleviates almost all the pain points that a small business would have. We take the cost, and there's always going to be a cost, but we have that minimized as best we can. We take away the complexity because, like Bill said before, their expertise isn't in employee benefits, right? That's what they turn to an association like us for and our partners. So the time, the cost, the complexity, we take that all off the table. We make this as easy as possible, and we have a fantastic team behind us. So our admin team, from the time that an employer calls and says, I want to join your association, I want to take advantage of the 401k plan, I want to talk to you about your insurance products, it takes about an hour from start to finish. And we use automation, to transfer data. So whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, however that payroll information is passed back and forth between Complete and Value Point, it's as highly automated as it can possibly be.
And they can go up to 5,000 depending on the size. It's based on the number of employees.
Excellent.
So their first year's membership dues is
covered.
Small enough company, they just made all that money back.
Yeah.
Right.
And another thing about us too is that, like Bill just talked about plan conversion, right? So you have an existing 401k plan or some other retirement plan, and you want to bring it over to Value Point. If for some reason, this hasn't happened yet, but if for some reason someone's not happy with their 401k plan that we sponsor, we have no exit fees. Other big companies, right, they make it very hard, on purpose, I think, but they make it difficult, right, to take that money and put it somewhere else. And there is an exit fee that they have to pay many times to move that money. We don't have one. We are so confident that employers will love this plan that we don't even have an exit fee if they want to move it after they join our association.
That is remarkable because we hear horror stories all the time about these exorbitant exit fees that, like you said, I don't want to get into names, but some of the bigger,
Well, our philosophy is very simple. If someone they're not happy with us and they don't want to work with us, we shake hands and walk away. We're not in the business to make enemies with somebody to hold them hostage for an exit fee. That makes no sense.
Right. We truly are trying to be that resource, that solution for small businesses. We have a fantastic team behind us. Collectively, Bill, I believe that our team it's 150 years of experience working in the retirement plan and the benefits administration field. So we understand this, and our team can actually set up a new member with the 401k plan in as little as 10 business days. It's that quick. It's very painless. You get on the phone with our admin team. Bill is on every one of these calls, and literally within an hour, the initial setup is all taken care of.
Yeah, and we work with Complete too. So all of our systems work together. You guys have all the data. Yep. You have everything. So you pass the data to us once a week. We literally process that data within minutes. It gets uploaded. Next day, the ACH transfers are done. Assets are in the participant's account. It works like clockwork.
And for Complete Payroll's customers that are out there, so it's so easy to start this process. Number one, they can talk directly to their Complete Payroll representative, and then he or she will contact. It's usually me that they call, but it'll be usually myself or somebody in the office. Or they can go to our website, which is valuepointassociates.com, and they can find our phone number there, or they can just fill out the form and just submit it right there. But either way, the whole process is started in 24 hours.
You just did my job for me. That was what I was going to leave it.
Yeah.
So if you are if you are a Complete Payroll client and you're interested in setting up a retirement account for your business, obviously, like Mike said, contact your sales rep or your customer service rep. But if you're not a Complete Payroll client, please contact these guys. We'll leave all the contact information down below. Before we close out, do you guys have any parting thoughts?
We just want everybody to know that there is a solution that's out there. It's newer, right? This is a newer model. It's a newer concept.
Right.
But we think that small businesses are absolutely gonna love this.
Right. And partnerships with a company like Complete too. You guys are the total package. So you've got the most modern software. You've got everything in place. Our systems work great together. And as we grow and as we develop other programs and other things too, there's going to be other things that come out: disability benefits, health insurance, compensation, other things that are out there. And by having a relationship with Complete, I mean it's very simple. So we make it easy. We can provide the benefits. They're going to be the lowest cost you can find, or very, very close to that. And it's simple. And that's the goal. We want to make it simple. We want to make it easy for everybody, so they don't have to worry about it. They don't have to be the plan sponsor. They don't have to file a 5500 form. They don't have to do anything. We do it all. It works great.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Bill. All right. So if you have any questions for myself, for Mike, or for Bill about anything we talked about today, if you'd like to suggest a topic for a future PeopleWork episode, or if you'd like to volunteer to be a guest on a future PeopleWork episode, shoot us an email. It's peoplework@completepayroll.com. In the meantime, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for watching. And as always, welcome to Payroll Country.